And we are live. Leadership matters, folks. It does. Leadership matters. Not just the skill, not just how qualified they are, not just their capabilities, who they are as people. How moral are they? That infects every organization, whether it be positively or negatively. Your leaders matter. It sets the tone for an entire organization, and I'm gonna tell you folks, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. We have a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and dig right into it. Before we get into the stories that I actually want to talk about today, I want to just call your attention. If it doesn't hit your news, this happened yesterday, and it is actually a very big deal. A lot of people have seen their lives completely upended. This was the tornado that hit Enid, Oklahoma yesterday, not that far from me actually. Um, but it is a massive it was a massive tornado that ripped through, did a considerable amount of damage. So yeah, I would be the first one to tell you to have the day you voted for, but I'm not going to do that this time. Actually, I'm going to tell you, people in Enid, Oklahoma, I truly hope that you do not have the day that you voted for. You're going to need a lot of help. You're going to need a lot of help, and I hope that this corrupt, broken, disgusting government that we have now is actually there for you. I really do. There are children involved. There are people involved that have no idea about anything regarding politics, that are completely clueless about politics. There are people in Enid, Oklahoma, that are affected by this, that never voted, that never, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I first saw that, I was like, and no fatalities had been reported yet. So I will say my first response was have the day you voted for. But the more I thought about it, the more I care. I do. I can't stop caring. And I hope these people are okay. I really do. I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay. Well, look, folks, leadership matters. It really does. Leadership matters. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. I really do. I hope you're having a good cup of coffee today. It is getting me through. Um, and it's infectious. It causes problems. When you have situations like this, we've got Ice Barbie that's been caught up in another. I love that everybody calls her Ice Barbie now. I really do. I love that. I love that more than anything. Even though she's moved on and now works at the State Department and isn't part of DHS anymore, I am so glad people still call her Ice Barbie. Yeah, she's caught up in another scandal. Y'all remember Admiral Linda Fagan, one of the first people fired by the Trump administration, not for incompetence, not for doing her job. She was doing a bang up job. She really was. She was fired for having a vagina. period. That's it. One of the first things Pete Hegseth did when he became the new Secretary of War Fighters was to fire Linda Fagan. And they were dicks about it. They were. They told her immediately to pack her shit and get out. Well, that's another one of those situations, rules for thee, but not for me. Because you and I are still providing Kristi Noem with her free digs at Joint Base Anacostia Bowling. She's still living in Linda Fagan's old house. Yeah, she doesn't work at DHS anymore. She's no longer over the Coast Guard anymore. But yes, neighbors have reported her still coming and going. She's still living in the Coast Guard Commandant's house on our dime. Folks, she works for the State Department now. She does not work for DHS. There is no justification at all for why this should be going on, other than it is just corruption. It's just blatant, in your face. Let's give somebody something that they shouldn't be getting. Corruption. She is now the special envoy. This whole new fucking created job. Pardon my language. Sorry. Calm down. Can't get that hot right away. Can't do that. Calm down, boy. Calm down. Even though they created this brand new job for you and I to pay her a salary, the special envoy for Shield of America. And she technically works for the State Department now. Well, there are no free State Department gigs for her to live in. You know, she needs to move back home with Balloon Boy. Or her and Corey need to quit pretending and move in together, one of the two. But you need to get the fuck out, because we've got a new commander of the Coast Guard who's living in the vice admiral's residence. You know, everybody got pushed downhill. You know, this wasn't free, folks. It affected leadership. It affected, you know, it affects morale. It affects everything. Yet it's still going on. It's still going on. She's still living there. Neighbors are still reporting her SUV and detail are still flying in and out of there. Keep in mind, they kicked Linda Fagan out immediately. Immediately. She was given hours to pack her shit and get out. They disrespected her for no reason. She was doing a fantastic freaking job. She had a vagina. That's why. She had a vagina. And Pete Hegseth had his warrior ethos, warfighter, Fox News bullshit to spend. So yeah, they had to disrespect her, kick her out, give her hours to pack her shit and leave. But Kristi Noem, who, you know, got caught up in hundreds of millions of dollars in scandals, DHS money being funneled to friends and new startup companies that just appeared that happened to be owned by people that, the husband of her deputy is getting contracts. And, you know, we're talking corruption all over the place. But no, we're going to keep paying for Kristi Noem's residence. Do you think that matters? This is a roundtable show. When I ask, do you think it matters? I'm literally asking you, the audience, does this matter? I mean, do you think it has an effect on DHS? Do you think it has an effect on people downhill anywhere? Do you think it sets a tone? Yeah, got a no here. Got somebody that thinks no, it doesn't, but we got a yes here, and yes, I'm pissed. Hell yeah, it does, folks. It does. Leadership matters. It matters. Leadership matters. Let me introduce you to the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism. Now, that sounds like an important job title, doesn't it? I mean, that does sound like an important job title, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know about you, but I want my Deputy Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism uh, to be really, really freaking calm and be to be quite honest, Julia Varo, she's got a master's degree. On paper, she looks like she might actually be qualified for the job, but she's MAGA. And what does that tell you? What is one of the core traits? Anytime you're introduced to somebody that is MAGA, anytime you're introduced to somebody that is a Trump supporter, what do you immediately know about that person? Yeah, I'm seeing they lie, they're grifters. Man, chat's moving today. All right. Unqualified, probably a bigot. They're immoral. You know that immediately. When you meet somebody that is MAGA, you know immediately they are immoral. They just are. Well, this is what immoral leadership gets you. Trump top Trump terror official exposed on sugar daddy site. And if you want to know what that looks like as a headline in the world press where everyone else is seeing it because you're not seeing it, this is not something that's all over the news here. Imagine if this was a Democratic administration. Imagine if this is, 2028, 2029, and this was happening after a Democrat had moved back into the White House. That the undersecretary, assistant undersecretary for counterterrorism, was caught on a sugar daddy website, and headlines like this were all over the world. Yeah, they dug through her social media and found her sugar daddy pictures. I mean, folks, leadership matters. Leadership matters. I mean, wow, I didn't realize I didn't realize, when you're researching it, you're not, you're just trying to absorb information. But when you have to say it out loud, it just kind of that the emotional effect of it hits you. And it just yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. Wow, that's shame. That's disgust, sadness, all of that just rolled into one, knowing that the entire world is seeing what we're becoming. Embarrassment. But I mean, it's more than that. I mean, she's been suspended from her job and is quite pissed about it. She's put a statement out. What's wrong with traveling the world with your boyfriend? I shit you not. That is her statement. I don't understand. I see nothing wrong with traveling the world with my boyfriend that you met on sugardaddy.com. This is the boyfriend that got her fired. Well, suspended. She will be fired. Well, maybe not. Maybe she'll end up like Christy Nome and, they'll just rent her a house and let her live on our dime. Keep paying her a salary. I don't know. We don't know. We honestly don't know with this administration. We know if it was a Democratic administration, it would be all over the news. It would be headline news running in a loop for a week till we found out exactly the consequences that happened to this woman. But she's just been suspended at this point. We don't know. We don't know where it's going to end up. We just don't know. But this is her with her boyfriend, Richard Bianchi, who, by the way, has $67 million in government contracts. Her boyfriend is the one that outed her and is basically causing a problem because after luxury trips to Aruba, to Italy, and to Switzerland, poor Richard here, I guess he wanted something a little more serious. He wanted it to quit being about, am I buying you clothes? Am I taking you on trips? Am I being your sugar daddy? Is this real? When the money dried up, so did she. Ouch, that was a bit far, don't you think? That was a bit far. I think I may have gone a bit far there. I don't know. That's a bit far. But he's a bit pissed about it. And he is singing to the Inspector General because it's a problem. I mean, it's a problem. She's got to have a background check. She's got to have, look, I know people that have had background checks. They talk to your neighbors. They talk to your banks. They talk to your, and these are people that were not in this level of position that I'm talking about. I mean, they were, important government employees, but they were not, do you think China knew she was on sugardaddy.com? I would bet. I would bet that, incoming administration, that there's a flow chart in China of, the who is what in the new government. And they did deep dives on social media on all of them. I would think that China knows. I mean, that's one complication. That's one little wrinkle. That she's compromised. But just even more basic than that, folks. I mean, just even more basic than that. How did you have time to do your fucking job? I mean, that's the one that hit me right there. Aruba, Switzerland. How many fucking vacations did you take in the under a year that you've been on this job? Seems relevant to me. It just it does. It just seems relevant. How much time did you take away from your job to go make duck lips pictures in Italy? Leadership matters, folks. And if you think the people in that organization didn't see it, didn't see how much time she took off, didn't see, if you think this doesn't matter, that it's not going to affect people's decisions going forward, you're absolutely nuts. You're absolutely nuts. People judge what's acceptable from their leaders, from the examples set by their leaders. You know, the FBI is definitely affected by the fact that they had to ram down Kash Patel's door because he was so blasted from the night before, he could not wake up. He couldn't answer the door when they were banging on his hotel and they were trying to get him to a meeting that he was supposed to be. You know, it matters. It matters. You know, if you're an FBI agent and you've got somebody taking a run at you trying to bribe you, it matters. It does. It matters how you do things. This just happened, by the way. I have a bit of bad news for you. Read a few comments. I don't want to get too far behind, and then we'll head to the next part of this. Robert, thank you. Robert Libby, wow, gifted 50 memberships. 50 memberships are out there for you to pick up free of charge on Robert's dime. He has graciously said, hey, you know what? Everybody get access to the emojis. Everybody get access to, nobody has to have the gray name and font. This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. I brag about our community all the time. I do. Y'all are so damn generous. Thank you, Robert, for doing that for folks. And again, down there by the subscribe button, you need to have already have hit. There's a join button. Click it. Pick up your free membership. Pick up your free membership. Skeet Sayre, this is not hyperbole. With the amount of flooding and other events like volcanoes and tsunamis, Mother Earth is punishing us for war. The tetanus vaccine was a result of all the bullets in the ground after World War II. Thank you. Thank you for the words and thank you for the support. Thank you for always being here, man. I appreciate you. Paul Daly, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Kismar, Colombian coffee here. Good choice. Good choice. Good choice. ET, when we first look at that, we first think about the lives affected and about how and about what long-term effects. When they look at it, all they see is the money for what they can try to make from it. Get involved. Yes, I agree. I agree. We are not the same. We are not the same. I wanted to be a dick so bad. I wanted to be have the day you voted for, Enid. And I can't be there. I wish I could. I really wish I was that fucking hard, but I'm not. I hope those people are okay. And I hope somebody competent shows up to help them. Sharon, thank you for being so generous. I appreciate you. Barefootery, welcome. Welcome. Glad to see all the new members. Glad to see all the new supporters too. Marshall Cash, thank you for being here, brother. The DOJ just stopped the probe into Jerome Powell. Yeah, that happened. That happened. That wasn't going to be part of the show. That's why I love you people so much. I mean, y'all, if you're watching this and replay, you have to watch it with the chat pane open. I'm telling you, the people in this community are so involved, and the conversations that they're having and the things that they're talking about just add so much more than what I can just bring you. You got to have that chat open, man. Be part of the community. It's an incredible community. Gold Farb, thank you, brother. Thank you for. I'm glad to see the new supporters, man. I really appreciate you. Oregon Wine Lady, can she sue them? Maybe. Maybe. Omniscient Sphinx. What up, Paul? What are the chances that Trump goes through this whole cabinet and fires them, even if the rejection of Nosferatu is the last ones as the last one stands? I don't know that he's going to do a wholesale firing. We are going to talk about one of the firings today. It's pretty important. It's pretty important. But he's an old man sundowning from dementia, and he's being handled right now. He's being handled. There's some people around him making the decisions. They're like, oh, look, pay attention to the marble. We got this video where talking about the granite that they're using in the White House construction project, the Epstein ballroom. Um, he's bragging about it's Italian granite from Africa. But yeah, Italian granite from Africa. I guess you never heard of the granite state. You never heard of the fact that we have what 40 granite mines in this country. Yeah, we're one of the largest producers of some of the best granite in the world. But yeah, I guess cheap developers are going to do what cheap developers do. Jeremiah Hamilton, welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Pink Sassy Pants, good to see you. You can never really say you have an established community unless you've got a pink Sassy Pants. I mean, you just can't. Mom to Huskies, welcome. Welcome. Angelina Valdez says, I said no, but I meant yes. Sorry. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I'm not. I'm not. I am. Mrs. Textball has to be so proud of me right now for avoiding that. Ooh, Angelina, thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I really appreciate you. Oh my God, I could get in so much trouble so easy. I am not coming near that with a 10-foot pole. Weird Idaho liberal. Hey, Bunker Buster, catch you on the replay, and Lucknow can go screw himself. I stand with Canada. Amen. Amen, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to see you going to catch us on replay. Glenn Kaneko, corruption starts at the top. It does. The fish rots from the head. Stoneflower Dragon, nothing in this government and its people is hidden, secure, unless it is Epstein adjacent. This is a reality TV show for all around the world to see. You know, the rest of the world is seeing much more about Epstein than we are. Cecile Kazemi. All right. Glad to see you. Glad to see you, Cecile. Annette Dennis. Welcome. Kathleen Blaze. Who is it? I'm driving. Dodadella, your empathy is what makes you different from them. We are not the same. We are not the same. And I know I try to encourage people to be hard. I try to encourage people to go low. But you know, when I see something like that, we are who we are. We just are who we are. And that's not going to change. Sister Perky Dot, welcome. Lily Wiggs, new membership. What? Hey, glad to see you grab a membership there, Lily Wiggs. Sandra Brown, glad to see you grab a membership there. Let's get back to work. Let's get back to work. Caught up on the comments. Let's get back to work. Leadership matters. When you do stuff like this, ICE got its funding in the middle of the night, 3:00 in the morning. Technically, they don't have their funding yet, but they passed a motion to handle the ICE funding via reconciliation. That means that the filibuster no longer applies. It limits what can be funded. But it's really just, it's a slippery slope. It really is. It's a slippery slope. Both parties have done it. Both parties, like the Inflation Reduction Act, couldn't get any Republicans along to vote for it. They wouldn't do anything for the American people. They didn't want to hand Democrats a win, so they wouldn't vote for it. So Chuck Schumer ushered the Inflation Reduction Act through the Senate via reconciliation. It happens. It happens. It happened. Republicans have gotten to the point now where they are just, again, they're taking it to the extreme. It's any conflict. They don't want to look like they're going to take a loss. So they run to reconciliation. Yeah, that all the Democrats voted no. Lisa Murkowski crossed over and voted no, but every Republican voted yes. Um, um, Rand Paul voted no also. Rand Paul crossed over. Um, and yeah, so yeah, Democrats held the line, but the Republicans are gonna push ICE funding through. I just want to remind people, I mean, this is just a scummy way to do this. It really is, and it's not a guaranteed thing, folks. I want to tell you, it's not a guaranteed thing. They're pissed about this in the House. They really are, because it does limit what you can stick in it. You can't put a bunch of add-ons on. You can't tie your agenda to it. And the Republicans were thinking, okay, immigration is something we can get a lot of shit shoved through, a lot of extras, a lot of gimmies, a lot of things to take back to the district. Because hey, our people love immigration. So as long as the bill says immigration on it or ICE or anything like that, doesn't matter what we stick in it, because Cletus ain't going to read it. And they're kind of pissed that this is being done via reconciliation. So this isn't necessarily a done deal. It's not, but I don't know. I'm looking at it like they've already eaten the shit burger for doing it via reconciliation. And in the middle of the night, why would they shoot themselves in the foot by not passing it? So that's my hunch, is ICE is getting its funding. And what this means is, since they passed the reconciliation, tongue tied, forgive me, it's not a bill. Damn it. Anyways, since they decided to do this via reconciliation, it's got to go back to the Judiciary Committee and the Committee on Homeland Security in the Senate, and they've got to write up a budget. They're targeting about $70 billion, so that that's enough to get them through at current funding through the rest of the Trump administration. They want their Gestapo. They're telling you what they're all about. They're telling you what's important to them. They are. Like, there you go, resolution. Thank you. God, I love you people so much, man. I do. I swear to God. Y'all, ask Mrs. Texas Paul. I will be, I fight depression every once in a while. I do. But when I get to come in and do a show, y'all are everything to me, man. I mean, you just put the spring back in my step. You really do. You keep me going. You charge my batteries. But yeah, the late great Maya Angelou said it perfectly. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And Republicans are showing you exactly what they are with this, because the Democratic demands, these were not the demands that came off of like Blue Sky, where the left of the left was making, defund ICE and, no, these were all reasonable demands. Like, respect warrants, actually get judicial warrants like the rest of law enforcement has to do. None of this write your own warrant shit. Do it by the book. Do it by the law. And that was too much. Republicans just told you that's just too much. We can't do that. We can't do that. Transparency. If you're not popping tear gas, you don't have a mask on. You've got a uniform that identifies you with a badge on it. Like every other law enforcement agency. Is that, I don't know. You tell me. I'll tell you what they were demanding. You tell me if that's unreasonable. Or if it's just common sense. Is that unreasonable? Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Mine is good this morning. I mean, it is hitting. It is hitting. They wanted funding for body cameras and uniforms. Democrats wanted to say, here's money. Go buy body cameras and wear them. That that was that was one of their demands. And uniforms. Look like law enforcement. Not some willy-nilly backwoods third world looking. One guy's got jeans on, one guy's got fire hose pants on, got another guy wearing tactical camouflage, got another guy, you know what I mean? They're wearing 15 different kinds of plate holders, vests. Some say police, some say, let's just let's spend some money and make you look like a police force. Make you look like law enforcement. Let's do that. You're not FBI agents. You're like Customs and Border Patrol. Customs and Border Patrol, they've got uniforms. They all wear the same plate holders. When they have to have, tactical gear on, it all matches so that when you look at them, you immediately know, oh, hey, that's law enforcement. I mean, is that unreasonable? Here, take some money and go buy some shit. Go shopping. That's what the Democrats were bringing to the table. And another one, stop conducting arrests at schools and courthouses and churches. Do you know why that is? That's not just like feelings. Do you know why that is? And I'll tell you, this has a lot to do with, I saw a video where, again, I love the excitement on the far left. I love the energy on the far left. I hate the ignorance on the far left. I hate that they get so excited about things that they don't understand. They're trying to cancel Tim Walz. They're trying to cancel Tim Walz. They are. And forgive me if the mic's picking it up. My tummy's grumbling. I'm sorry. No breakfast and 4 cups of coffee. That just happens. They're trying to cancel Tim Walz because Tim Walz said, look, do your arrests at night. And they're like, Tim Walz exception is endorsing night raids by ICE. Cancel him, the bastard. Do you know why they're saying that? Do you know why the police do raids at night? There's a reason for it. And there are statistics to back it up. It's safer. It's safer for the people you're arresting. Think about it. It's safer for the population. There's no civilian population at 4:00 in the morning. You've been on the streets at night. It's dead quiet. So if something goes wrong, there are no civilians around to get hurt. Plus, the person you're arresting is probably asleep. Less chance that they're going to be violent, less chance that they're going to resist, less chance. There's a reason they do this at night, and it's not nefarious. It's not jackbooted thugs and this. It makes sense. It makes sense. You know what? If you're going to come arrest me, do it at night when I'm asleep. Don't give me a chance to get pissed. I have a bad temper. I do. I might say or do something really fucking stupid if you come to arrest me at 2:00 in the afternoon at church. I mean, I won't be at church, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's a pretty common sense request. Don't arrest people at schools because it's dangerous. All the children, if something goes wrong in an arrest at a school, something goes wrong. We end up, with a shootout. You're in a school, dumbass. By choice, you're doing that. And so the Democrats are like, hey, we're going to tie to the funding that you stop doing stupid shit. Okay? The Republicans are telling you. They're telling you, no, we've got to do it in schools for the cameras, for MAGA. They like seeing little brown kids hurt. They like that. We've got to do that. We've got to do it at the schools. They really enjoyed seeing some high school kids get the shit beat out of them by ICE. They're telling you who they fucking are. Another one was oversight of their goddamn concentration camps. I got to cut down on the cussing, man. I'm going to get in trouble. I am. I got to calm down, Paul. Oversight of their concentration camps. Access to attorneys. People kind of just think that's normal. That if you get arrested, you say, I don't want to answer your questions. I want to talk to my attorney. And they let you. Right? Right? No. They're holding these people for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks without talking to legal representation. They've actually forced people into signing agreements to be voluntarily deported just to get out of being held in these shithole concentration camps. And they were never allowed to talk to an attorney. And that was just part of it. The Democrats said, we have to codify this so that so you can be held accountable. Republicans are saying, no, we can't do that. Constitution's Constitution. No. Another thing, again, the Democrats said, look, we've got to, if you're going to put one of these shitholes in a state, that state has to have the ability to regulate it. They have to have the ability to answer complaints in their own state. Remember, states' rights. It's all about them states' rights. Remember MAGA telling you that about every fucking thing? Here I go again. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just going to be salty today. I'm sorry. I am. I apologize. I do. Don't write me the email. I'm pre-apologizing, okay? States' rights. The Democrats said, look, if you're going to put these things in a state, you've got to let the state inspect it, answer complaints, take a look, and be able to do something if conditions are inhumane. Republicans said no. So what are they telling you? What are they telling you they want to do? I mean, they're telling you they want to no oversight, yahoo, cowboy, do whatever the hell you want to do, make a spectacle, basically president's private police force with no oversight and no responsibility, no accountability. They don't have to be professional. They don't have to look professional. They don't have to have body cameras so that we can document what the hell they're doing. None of it. They're telling you flat out. Because that's all the Democrats were asking for. They didn't march in and say, we run this shit now. We're going to tell you we want, no. Basic, decent crap. The way you govern, the way you actually make things happen. But Republicans are telling you this is the leadership that they are. Do you think it matters? Do you think that the fact that they're going to reconciliation to send this message to you and me and everybody, do you think it matters? Do you think the rest of the government is watching? Do you think the message is being sent? When Tom Homan just doesn't show up when he's supposed to be before the congressional, the House Judiciary Committee, do you think that matters. I mean, they're telling you what kind of leaders they are, and leaders is doing a lot of lifting there. It matters. It matters. It matters. I mean, it matters that Christy Nome is still living off the government's dime. Welcome, Sammy. I appreciate you, brother. Welcome for being here. Good to see you. Dave Mon. Sam, you look a little young, brother. You look a little young. We talk about some very adult stuff here. I may just be getting a bad image here. I may be if you're a child, you should not be here, sir. I'm sorry. This is grown up talk. And if I'm reading it wrong, I apologize. I apologize. Correct me. Dave Mon. Thank you, brother. Thank you for supporting the show. Kathleen Blaze. Who is the woman you were talking about? You need to be more vocal for people who are listening. Thanks. On which topic? Because we talked about Julia Varo. We talked about Linda Fagan. We talked about a couple different women. Kathleen Blaze, I understand. I hear you. I will try, Kathleen. I will try. Kyra, good to see you. The ballroom isn't getting built. He'll croak first. Yeah, he's just it's going to be another mess. He leaves us. It is. Chandra Patton. It's going to be more grifting. Chandra Patton. Thanks for being so generous, Chandra. Thanks for always being here. Crafty Ass Gardner, thank you for being so generous. So many folks, there are free memberships out there. If you're watching live, you can just snatch one up right now. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We are growing. It is really one of the metrics that's most important for moving into the election is those subscriptions. The subscriptions are free on YouTube. It's not like the memberships. The subscriptions, you just hit the button and you can get notifications of when we're going to be here and what we talk about. Yeah, it's super important. Hit the subscription button. Hit the subscribe button. Gail Brownell, ICE is buying warehouses here in South Dakota. They're building a new prison, and my county is building a new jail. Feels like they want to lock us up. Yeah. If they're deporting people, why do they need so many concentration camps? If they're deporting people and they're going to ignore the law anyways to deport people, why do they need the concentration camps? I am telling you that is for you and me. That is a hill I will die on. As soon as these midterms are over, if we have not absolutely demolished the Republican Party, you are going to see U.S. citizens filling those concentration camps. Yoda be wise. He woke up in an oval room presser and said, "Oh yeah, yeah." The Trump has been sundowning badly. I don't have any videos of him today because I just didn't want to hear his voice. I didn't want to see. I think I've got one video of him today. But yeah, he just straight out slept for a while, obviously sleeping, making, snoring, wakes up, said some stupid shit, then fell right back to sleep while the world was watching, while the entire world was watching. Slap your mama. Thanks for the deep dive into policy machinations. No problem. That's what we do here. Melissa Grubb, for the cussing jar. We all understand. I appreciate you. I appreciate you always being here. Hurricane Heidi. Glad to see the new folks here. So how do we get the other people in this country to see the same news that we are seeing from overseas? I feel the biggest problem is that we're uninformed. I'm trying. I am trying. That's what I keep telling people. Hit the subscribe button. It's not just about you. when you hit the subscribe button, it tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, people love this shit. We should show it to other people. YouTube wants to make money too. They do. I mean, they're more than happy to show our content as long as they think it's content that people want to see. Thumbs up, subscribe. Those are the things that tell the algorithm, hey, we should probably show this to other people. Really. Because there's me and there are other people like me that are out there banging away every day. Every day I'm either making shorts or I'm doing the show. I'm not waiting for somebody else to do it for me. We're going to do it as a community. I hope that answers your question, Heidi. I do. Kyra, it's a beautiful day at the cussing pond. Yeah, it's not a beautiful day here. I tell you what, man, we've had some ugly weather. Not going to bitch about rain, though. I'm not. Karen Cook, welcome. Anonymous Mystic. Studies show people who cuss have higher IQs. I've heard that. I've been told that before. Kathleen Blaze, duck lips don't make me buy another one. Elizabeth Fernandez, welcome. Welcome. Diane Garage, hey, Paul, here with you as always. Got in late, early morning hot rod work. All right, brother. All right. Glad to see it, man. Glad to see it. I've been doing some woodworking the last few days, and I'm having a hell of a problem, man. I tell you what, my polyurethane keeps fogging up on me. Having a problem. I'm on like coat number 6, and I still have streaks in it. I'm at the point where I think I'm just going to sand it back to bare wood and start over. I'm restoring a table, by the way. This happened. U.S. intelligence indicates China is preparing weapons shipment to Iran amid fragile ceasefire, sources say. And boy, let me tell you, Trump had thoughts. If China does that, China will have big problems, okay? Trump said as he left the White House for Florida. Trump did not say whether he has spoken to Xi or not. Again, leadership matters. And how important do you think consistency is in leadership? Morality, we've talked about that. Morality is important. How important do you think consistency is in leadership? I mean, if you're a dad and your kids have to make moral decisions, your consistency is everything. They're going to weigh that. If they don't know what you are, if you're inconsistent, they don't know what you are, whether you're a dad, a mom, if you're just parent, it doesn't matter. What matters is when your child is looking at their parents, consistency matters. If you're running a company, if you're erratic and all over the place, and 1 minute, well, we're going to expand, and the next minute, oh, well, we're going to cut locations, and the next, the next day, well, we're going to try to, negotiate our credit, and then the next day, well, we're going to open new lines of credit. Nobody knows what the hell is going on, and everybody in management beneath you has no idea which direction to go, where to push, where to put their efforts. Consistency matters. It matters. It matters. And on that note, it really matters if you're the president of the United States. It really matters if you're the president of the United States.
I will say.
Are you angry at China for what they sent to Iran?
No.
So there's some reporting today.
No. I guess we do the same thing, don't we? With other countries. It's like one of those things, but nothing it wasn't earth shaking. Yeah.
There's some reporting today, sir, that you.
Okay. You're walking out to go to your sorry ass club in Florida and you talk shit. They better not. They damn well better not send them weapons. They'd be in trouble. Then when you get back from your sorry ass club, you sit down and a reporter asks you, hey, this deal with China, between China and Iran, it's still going on. They're going to ship them weapons. Are you pissed about this? Is this something? Nah, we do the same thing. No big deal. Nah, no big deal. And by the way, if you happen to be a pilot, an American pilot, I'm sorry, because these are the weapons he's talking about. These are man pads. It's the FN-6 Chinese-made shoulder-fired missile. MANPAD is short for Man-Powered Air Defense System. Shoulder-fired missiles. They would call them MANPADs now. That's the FN-6. This is the more advanced FN-16. Yeah. This is what China is shipping to Iran. That Trump says, not a big deal. Not earth-shaking. Yeah, apparently your ass isn't in the bucket of an A-10 Warthog. Apparently you're not flying an Apache attack helicopter. Kind of matters. And the consistency matters. I mean, if you're China, what do you take from that? I mean, really, you're very, very intelligent people. If you're China, if you're President Xi, and on, 2 days ago, you hear, oh, the President of the United States has threatened us. They're very upset about our arms shipment to Iran. And then your next briefing is, turns out Trump doesn't give a shit. Maybe we should send more. I mean, if they're not that upset about it, they're not really bothered about it, maybe we should send them more. Consistency matters. Someone needs to know where the line is when you're going to punch them in the fucking mouth. I guarantee you, everybody in my life knows exactly where the line is. When you cross it, I will walk you out of my house. And there are other lines. You go after my wife, I will push your teeth through the back of your head. That is what I do. That is what I do. You can call me a sorry son of a bitch all day long, but you come after Mrs. Texas Paul, and I just will. And everybody knows it. There's no inconsistency. So nobody gets in trouble. And we don't have that. We don't have morality in our leadership. We don't have consistency in our leadership. And it's affecting our military. Folks, this just happened. You may have seen this in the news. Just soak it in. Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke was part of the planning. His special ops soldier was part of the planning in the raid on Maduro. Thought it was a good idea to bet $33,000 on Polymarket as to whether or not Maduro would be taken captive, and won $400,000. Okay, let's unpack that. First of all, making that bet compromises operational security. China's pretty good at tracking our electronics. They're pretty good at following what happens with these markets. I mean, they pay attention now. Everybody pays attention now to Polymarket, because if there's a big bet that happens on Polymarket, everybody pretty much can now track what's going to happen. And I found a picture of the guy, and I immediately said, yeah, that tracks. Master Sergeant Gannon, Ken Van Dyke. Leadership matters. It affects the decisions of your subordinates and what they're willing to do. I mean, everybody understands the problem here, right? Everybody understands the problem with a special op soldier getting absolutely extremely classified information and then turning around and taking that information to Polymarket and making bets. I mean, we all get that this is a problem, right? He's being prosecuted, by the way. That's trading with insider information. He's actually being prosecuted for this. But I mean, to me, I mean, the bigger deal isn't the insider information. It's the compromising operational security by one of a master sergeant. He should have known. He should have. That is a huge red flag for me, that we have a problem in our military. That this leadership problem that we have is perverting our military. It's infecting our military. And talk about problems with leadership. We already have Republicans coming out calling for Trump to issue this guy a pardon. Rep Paulina Luna, maybe not a popular take, but I am calling for this guy to be pardoned. They're telling you who they are, folks. They're telling you who they are. And leadership matters. They're telling you they want our government to be completely infected. They want a guy that goes out, compromises operational security, trades on insider information to be pardoned. To be pardoned immediately, because he's a war fighter. Is anybody else thinking that we might have a culture problem in our military stemming from all of this? Because it just keeps getting worse. It does. It just keeps getting worse. Navy Secretary John Fallon, who should have never been in the job in the first place, is fired. I wish I could tell you that he was fired because he never should have been in his job in his first place. The guy has no military background at all. He was a fundraiser for Trump in Florida. He's a venture capitalist from Florida. And I wish I could tell you he was fired for good reasons, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He was fired because he doesn't get along with Pete Hegseth. He was fired because he doesn't get along with Pete Hegseth's deputy, Stephen Feinberg. We're going to talk about more about Feinberg here in just a second. But if you think he was replaced by anybody competent, do you think that they took a look and said, okay, we put a guy in the job that should have never been in the job? There's way more to this, by the way. We're going to dig into this. We're going to dig down into this. But if you think they fired him and said, he's the wrong guy for the job, we need somebody better for the job, somebody doing better. Yeah, let's go find that person. No. See, they moved Hung Kao into his deputy's position so that they could fire him to promote Hung Kao up to take his place. This is Hung Kao. Hung Kao was a captain in the Navy. That's a pretty serious. That's kind of the equivalent of a colonel in the Army. The guy got rank. Not the kind of rank that you'd want to see. Is ordnance disposal is his specialties, and not like a captain of a ship. There are different kind of captains in the Navy. There are captains, and then there are captains. He is a complete nutter. He is a MAGA extremist. He's lost 2 elections in Virginia. Tried to run against Tim Kaine, tried to run against Wexton for Congress. Both times got raffle stomped in elections that were not going our way. He got raffle stomped. When he had wind at his back, he got raffle stomped. He just did. The guy's a nutter. I mean, he out there. There is not a nanometer of Trump's disgusting taint that this guy has not licked. Anything Trump says, if Trump absolutely filled his diaper in the room with Hung Kao would go, smells like roses. This is the kind of guy we're talking about. He is put in the position to be a yes man, and he's stupid. He's stupid. And I know people are going to say, he was a captain in the Navy. How can you call him stupid? No, he's stupid. He's stupid. Look, this is him talking to Steve Bannon. Like I said, he's the most disgusting MAGA thing you've seen. He says, so yeah, of course he's talking to Steve Bannon. Listen carefully to what he says.
This is great. I know I'll be attacked by left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better.
Captain Hung Kao, thank you very much for joining us in War Room.
This is great. I know I'll be attacked by left and call me white supremacist, but I have one ask for them. It's just when you give me my hood, make sure it's got the little slits and not the circles so I can see better.
Yeah. Do you agree with me now that he's fucking stupid? On top of disgusting, on top of already admitting that he's going to lean into white supremacy, because that's what's at the core of this administration is white supremacy. And if you don't believe so, you need to look at what's going on with the Southern Poverty Law Center right now. I'll give you the Cliffs Notes of that. The Southern Poverty Law Center, the people that the white supremacists hate because they gather intelligence on white supremacists. They publish data about white supremacists, the crimes they commit, who's involved in it. And, they're the people that out the white supremacists. The government is now suing them and charging them with defrauding their donors because the Southern Poverty Law Center paid informants to give them information. I shit you not. This white supremacy protecting, loving Trump regime is going after the Southern Poverty Law Center based on, and I shit you not, the Southern Poverty Law Center paid informants. Now, they didn't pay informants that were Target employees. What kind of informants do you think they paid? I mean, if you were trying to gather intelligence on white supremacy organizations, what do you think their informants were? White supremacists? Right. So, yeah. That's how law enforcement does it. That's how any investigative organization, private investigators, corporations, that's how it's done. You want information, you find somebody that's willing to be a traitor to their organization, and you pay them to be a traitor to their organization. That's how it works. I shit you not, the United States government is now attacking the Southern Poverty Law Center, claiming that paying these informants for intelligence, information on the crimes they're committing, is funding white supremacy. I shit you not. They are trying to shut down the Southern Poverty Law Center, which has been so effective at infiltrating these white supremacy movements that they hate them. This government is working on behalf of the white supremacists to try to shut down the Southern Poverty Law Center because they paid informants. They're literally trying to charge them with fraud, saying they defrauded their donors because their donors were told they were fighting white supremacy. And here they are paying white supremacists. Paying them to do what, Cletus? Paying them to do what? To be informants. So what you're telling me is in your rationale, the FBI are now terrorists because the FBI has informants in terrorist organizations and criminal organizations? Are you telling me now that your local police department, which have CIs that have informants, are now part of criminal organizations? I mean, this reach is beyond Stretch Armstrong stretching. It's insane. Now apply that kind of thinking to Hung Kao. Talking about what kind of Klan hood he wants. Making fun of Asian people's eyes. This guy's not smart. And he's more than willing to go along with this administration's defense and protection of white supremacy and Christian nationalism, which are the same thing. This is it. This is the guy. I mean it. That's his job today. His nameplate is on the desk. Why? Why was Fallon not good enough? Well, apparently Fallon pissed off Hegseth because he's really good friends with Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump wanted to talk about something, he would call Fallon directly. And it threatened Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is really terrified that he's super paranoid that everybody's out for his job. Then he said something really stupid. Fallon said something really stupid. In a press conference, John Fallon said he was open to outsourcing production of the Navy warships abroad. Now, again, I want to pause for a second. We have a problem in this country. The executives, the venture capitalists, the vulture capitalists, the people that run our banks, they're broken. They are. You know, I've told the story many times about Don Regan, Ronald Reagan's chief of staff, how he literally told people, he literally engaged in policy to destroy unions And in his mind, it was better to offshore jobs. Remember, the 80s is when jobs really started flowing over from America, American manufacturing to overseas. This is important. This is going to apply to what we're talking about with John Fallon and why John Fallon lost his job. Part of the reason John Fallon lost his job. Remember, it was literally the White House's position in the Reagan administration that it is better to offshore jobs than it is to have unions, because unions are communism. That's a broken mindset. That is an irrational person that thinks that way. And we've got a legion of them running our corporations and running our businesses. We do. That's why John Fallon felt comfortable saying something like, maybe we should offshore shipbuilding for our Navy. We'll have other countries build our Navy. Now, I know you immediately say, what the? That's kind of a national security problem, isn't it? That's a bit of a national security problem to be reliant on other nations to build our weaponry. That seems to be a bit of a problem. But when you're of that broken mindset that, hey, find that cheap labor anywhere you can get it, fuck America, which our corporations and corporate leadership are absolutely infected with this mindset. And it's a problem. It's a problem. We have virtually no shipbuilding capability in this country. As big a nation as we are, with the GDP that we have, South Korea builds more ships than we do. Because they wanted to kill unions. That's why they killed steel production here. Why not? Why not buy it from Russia where they don't have unions? Why not build ships in, the Philippines where they don't have unions? Now, the reason I didn't say South Korea is so that you know, just so you know, South Koreans, they do it right. They are very unionized. Hyundai Heavy Industries, all of their shipbuilding facilities in Korea, which are some of the most advanced, most successful shipyards in the world, are highly unionized, and their employees make about twice the national average because of it. Highly unionized. So if you're Hyundai Heavy Industries, let's go ahead and put a pause in it. I want to introduce you to Cerberus Capital. That is run by one of our infected leaders that believes in offshoring everything, that believes in everything should be done without labor, that believes in, this is Cerberus Capital. And Cerberus bought a shipyard. They did. They bought a shipyard in the Philippines. Our old Subic Bay Navy Yard was owned by a Korean conglomeration called Hanjin, which used to be really huge before COVID hit, and then Hanjin went tits up. They used to be one of the biggest shipping companies in the world. Here, let me give you an idea. I'm sure you've seen one of these. This will jog your memory. One second. Hanjin, just like you see Maersk and Costco, and you see Hanjin everywhere. They were one of the largest shipping companies in the world. They were the biggest in Korea, and they went belly up because they went ass deep in debt buying huge ships. And then COVID hit, and they couldn't restructure their debt. So the shipyard that they owned in Subic Bay in the Philippines went up for sale. Cerberus bought it. Well, why would they have a shipyard in Subic Bay and not Korea? Unions. That whole anti fuck your own people used to be a primarily American disease that our executives had. Well, that's global now. Hanjin said, "Yeah, let's do our repairs and build ships in the Philippines because, hey, no unions in the Philippines. You get hurt in Subic shipyard, they just throw you outside the gate. They don't give a shit. It's called the Aguila Shipyards. Used to be, y'all remember Subic Bay, our big naval base that used to be in the Philippines. It is now owned by Cerberus, which is a vulture capital firm here in the U.S. Cerberus Capital Management. They bought it from Hanjin when Hanjin went belly up. And I say belly up. Hanjin still exists. It's just not what it once was. Well, I mean, if you're going to buy a shipyard, hey, might as well get some government contracts, right? Might as well get you some government contracts. The folks, the date on this is April 22nd, 2026. This is going on right now as we speak. U.S. Army stages equipment at American-owned Subic Bay facility for Balakatan Alliance contingencies. We are storing long-term our Army resources and material and vehicles and at Aguila Subic Bay shipyard. We have contracts with them. Yo money is flowing to Cerberus, where they also do ship repairs and build ships and yada, yada, yada. I'm going somewhere with this. Stick with me. Stick with me. Stick with me. Stick with me. So the other reason that John Fallon was fired was because he just did not get along. He just did not get along with Stephen Feinberg, the Deputy Secretary of War, Stephen Feinberg. They could not agree on who should get contracts for the shipbuilding. They could not agree on who should be controlling it, because Stephen Feinberg has taken a deep interest and personal control of our contracts to build ships. See, we have a problem here. In this country. We can't build the ships that our Navy wants. And Trump just added $500 billion to our military budget because he wants to build his big Trump class battleships. He wants to have more ships, I shit you not, than Barack Obama. That's his goal. He's got to have more ships in his Navy than Barack Obama did. And we're about 50 light right now. So he's got to build himself 50 ships and build them fast. We can't. Couldn't build them if we wanted to. Because the infection, the disease that is our corporate management structure, we got rid of shipbuilding. Just like we got rid of steel production. Just like we got rid of, do that shit overseas. Slap your name on it. Send it back in. We can't. So Fallon said out loud the thing that would expose that. He said out loud, if we're going to do what Trump wants to do, I mean, imagine the situation. They have $500 billion they're trying to shove through the freaking Navy. They're going to try to build this year $70 billion worth of ships with no place to build them. Nobody has the capacity. And Fallon says the quiet part out loud. If you want to do that, we're going to have to go to other countries. We're going to have to go overseas and have our ships built. And they went, you can't say that part out loud because then people will start looking at our contracts. Because I'll give you one fucking guess. Who runs Cerberus? Give you one guess. Who runs Cerberus Capital Management? I'll wait. Take a wild guess. Sorry. Steven Feinberg owns it. Steven Feinberg. Yeah, I did that stupid shit where I left myself muted because I was slurping coffee. Sorry about that. Steven Feinberg. Cerberus Capital is his company. And he just partnered up with Hyundai Heavy Industries to build ships and repair ships in the Philippines, in Subic Bay, our old Navy base. He's getting the contracts, to facilitate the storage and logistics of our Army material and vehicles and whatnot. This is the guy that has been fingers deep into our contracting and shipbuilding contracts. And why did he partner with Hyundai Heavy Industries? Because Hyundai's got a union problem. They're paying literally twice the average wage in their shipyards. But if Hyundai builds in the Philippines, there's no unions. Are you starting to see the problem here? There's hundreds of billions of dollars sitting out there that nobody can pick up. Nobody can build the ships here in the United States of America. But you know what? The guy responsible for that contracting, he owns a place. Leadership matters. Leadership matters. What your leaders do matter. It affects our military. It affects what we do. It affects how they act. When people see things like this, when they see guys like this, putting his fingers into shipbuilding contracts. Now, folks, those contracts are managed by the Secretary of Navy. They always stay within the Department of the Navy. That's how they're handled, because we had competent people in the past that understood what the Navy's needs were. They understood what logistic pressures they were under. No, it's Feinberg now. Feinberg's running it out of Hegseth's office. The vulture capitalist that's buying shipyards. That's just where we are, folks. That's what this government is. That's how corrupt this government is. You can lose your job and still not get kicked out of the house that you're not supposed to be living in for free anyways. You can be on sugardaddy.com compromising your security status, your security clearance, traveling all over the damn world, sucking money out of I mean, it kind of makes you a problem. You know, it makes you compromisable when you're that kind of person. And they don't care. She literally said, "What's wrong with me traveling the world with my boyfriend? We're both adults." That was literally her response to this. Then you got special, I mean, it's gone all the way down to the enlisted. You've got a sergeant major, you've got a non-commissioned officer taking inside information in a plan that he's betting on, in an operation that he is betting on, that his men are going to be participating in. He's taking that information, that highly classified information, and betting on Polymarket. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We need a Teddy Roosevelt kind of president trouble. You know, one of my favorite political cartoons, I remember when I first started getting involved, and I haven't been able to find it. When I look online, Google's not very good at coming up with it. It was one of my favorite cartoons. It was a political cartoon from when Teddy Roosevelt was running, and it showed Teddy Roosevelt with his, glasses and his stereotypical grin that you would see, big toothy grin. And he had an eagle in a wash bucket, a wash tub, a wooden wash tub, and a scrub brush, and he was scrubbing that eagle. That was his campaign. He was going to break up the monopolies. He was going to end the corruption. We need a Teddy Roosevelt level president, because we're in trouble. We are in deep, deep trouble. We've got the Secretary of War, Mr. Warfighter, telling our allies who have paid for weapons. Estonia has paid for top-of-the-line missile launchers that they cannot have them. They can't have what they paid for. He just has unilaterally decided that since we're at war and we've lost so much, which they're telling us we haven't lost anything. We've been amazing. We've been spectacular. Nothing's been destroyed. No one's been hurt or killed. Yet we're in a position where we have to tell Estonia, who has paid for missile launchers, they cannot have them because we can't afford to let them go. Sounds like maybe we lost a few missile launchers, doesn't it? And Estonia's pissed because, as I said, they paid for them. We used to have such trust in the world that people would pay us in advance for military hardware because they knew we would deliver. I mean, we're allies after all, right? We were allies with Estonia. They're slightly pissed at us right now. But you know, they're not the only ally that's pissed with us because this just happened. Trump is slobbering all over himself to tell anyone who will listen, any press, anyone with a microphone, anyone with a camera, a cell phone, it doesn't fucking matter, that he really wants Putin to come to Miami for the G20. The date on this is April 23rd, 2026, folks. How do you think our European allies are responding to that? Leadership matters. If you think China's confused about our response to them shipping arms to China, how do you think our European allies who have been supporting Ukraine and have been, suddenly we've got to lift all the sanctions on Russia? And oh, by the way, my buddy Pooty Poot, he's going to come to the G20 now. No consistency, no spine, no policy. They're grifters, they're con men, they're corrupt. They're disgustingly corrupt. And they're doing it out in the open. The whole world is watching. I don't know how to stress this enough, but leadership matters. It matters. It matters that you don't say, and talking about our leadership on the left, it matters that they don't say radical shit. I get that pisses you off on Blue Sky, which is the farthest left of all the platforms I'm on. I get that pisses you off there. I get that some of you on Threads are slightly pissed off that our leadership will not say more bombastic statements. But it matters. Consistency matters. Stability matters. Everybody in the world understanding what your message is matters. The entire world will know without a phone call, without communications, without a press release, without anything, that when we Democrats take the midterms, Putin is fucked. They'll just know it because we've been completely consistent. They will know that you're going to see a return to norms in this country because we've been completely consistent. No over the top bombastic statements, just a strong, consistent message with a fealty to the Constitution, a fealty to the law. Even when we don't agree with a law enforcement agency, we understand it exists, that it was put into place to do a specific job. So no, we're not going to say destroy it. We're going to say reform it. And I know that doesn't make a lot of people happy. It doesn't. It doesn't make you feel good. It's not a rah, rah, rah thing. But leadership is important. It's why John Fetterman will not be a second-term senator. He just will not. I assure you, someone will primary him. He'll find a health reason to not run for re-election. Something will happen, but he's not going to be a second-term senator. If he wins re-election in 2028, I will eat this hat. I will literally sit on this show and I will consume this felt hat. People respond to leadership. People respond to consistency. I catch a lot of hate for it. This pin right here, this emblem brings me so much hate because people are like, how dare you support the Democratic Party? They have offended me for not repeating what I say on social media. Consistency. Yes, somebody did something I didn't like. Oh yeah, by the way, I still support Democrats. I've consistently said the same thing. I want to take the Democratic Party and I want to move it left. That will not change. It needs to move left. We need a Democratic Party that focuses more on the people. And I will consistently work for that, but I will always work to elect Democrats. Always. Because there's only one ruling party in this country. You've seen the chaos. We've just had an entire show of nothing but Republican chaos. Inconsistency in leadership is the smallest of problems. Leadership matters. It does. It does. And the Republicans are sending you a message. And I want to leave you with this. And I hate to leave you scared, but it scares me. This is something I am legitimately scared about. The Republicans have sent us a message. They will not follow the rule of law. They will not respect warrants and the process, the courts. They're going to build concentration camps. They're telling us that's not for immigrants. That's for you. That's for you. I assure you, as surely as the sun is going to come up tomorrow, that if we do not seize not just bare majorities, if we do not bulldoze into leadership and take strong control at least one co-equal branch of government, those camps are for you. You're going to end up in a situation where you go on a cruise and you're trying to come back through customs. And they're going to say, no. I need you to move over here into this room. They're telling you. The voices, the ones that can't keep the quiet part quiet in right-wing social media, they're telling you. Democrats should be the ones that we arrest. It's just like they told you over and over and over again. Abortion should be illegal, and the ones among us that wanted to believe everything was okay would not listen to me when I said that. They're going to make abortion illegal. They're going to take your rights to birth control away. They're going to try to take your right to vote away. And we had people on our own side that were like, you're being hyperbolic. You're being hyperbolic. No, I live with these people. I know them. I know them. Please believe me. Well, what happened? They got control of all three branches of government, and boom, abortion's gone. They're coming after your birth control in state after state after state, and there's no federal government that is pushing back, even though it is an interstate issue where the federal government has purview. They're building fucking concentration camps, folks. I don't know what else to tell you to get you. If you cannot get involved, if you're looking at that, if you cannot get involved, looking at that, looking at what's happening to the culture of our military, looking at what's happening to the culture of our law enforcement, listening to the messages they're clearly sending you. If you cannot get involved, if you can't just show up and vote, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. I just don't. Rock and Ron says work requirements make it harder to be with the live this week, but here with you, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. Need our community, spreading information, getting it out there. Martin Bixby, good to see you. I continue on the right side of history here. Amen. Glad to see you here. Need y'all hitting that subscribe button. I do. I need y'all. That is the only metric where we're still struggling. We've slowed down. We did in such an amazing amount. We went from like 100 to 350,000 like that. It set a pattern within the algorithm that said, okay, they should be growing at this rate. We are just, I mean, it's literally a hair under. We're like 1.7%, 2% under our previous growth rate. I need you hitting the subscribe button. I do. Put us back in the green on that metric so that our message gets out, so that the algorithm says, oh, yeah, people still love this. Crafty Ass Gardner. You can screw yourself with success, folks. You can. Regarding Tejas governor's race, this morning I heard out with the wheels, in with the heels. I love that. And I loved it. I will crawl through broken glass to vote blue until my fingers bleed. Everyone go vote. Some good news there. Gina Hinojosa is leading Greg Abbott by more than 30% among Hispanics. We're seeing a shift back in the Hispanic vote in the 2024. People keep saying it was stolen, and I keep telling you, no, man. There were people that just shifted. They stupidly just didn't believe what we were telling them. They see it now, and they're shifting back. Hinojosa is raffle stomping. If you don't know what raffle stomping is, ROFL, roll on the floor laughing, raffle stomping Greg Abbott among Hispanics. And that's what you have to do in Texas to win the governor's race. Rena Scott, Rump is upset over the brakes being put on the Epstein ballroom because these donations from the wealthy donors probably had quid pro quo attachments, and he can't fulfill his end of the deal. Yeah, man. And God bless Elizabeth Warren. She is hot on the money. She can't get the administration because we don't have control of Congress. We don't have control of the committees. We don't have control of the subpoenas. We don't have control of it. So she can't get this administration to cooperate, but she can get the companies to cooperate, and they're handing over their data, and the money is missing. Hubby Dragon Sand it down, wipe with alcohol, and apply thin coats. That's what I've been doing. I actually took everybody's advice. I thinned my my polyurethane, my oil-based polyurethane down 50-50 with mineral spirits, and it immediately started to cloud up. It immediately started to cloud up. I'm telling you, I think it may be, I'm using clean strip mineral spirits, and I think it may be just shitty mineral spirits. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I am. That's what I'm gonna do after the show. Is I'm gonna go in that, I'm gonna shut down the world, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna sand my table, and I'm gonna go with straight brushed on urethane and have a few brush marks in it. That's what I'm gonna do. This project's got to be over with. I've been on this too long. It looks beautiful, other than the cloudiness. I'm gonna get rid of that today. Thanks for the advice, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. I really suspect some people are telling me because I'm using satin that 50-50 may leave it cloudy because of the suspension of the polymers that keep it from reflecting. But I don't know. I'm still learning. Diane Bree Garage. Paul, I want to say to you and the audience, in these tough times, do what you enjoy doing. It really helps. Old cars are my passion, keeps me sane. Doing it always makes me feel good. Work is good for you. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I agree with you 100%. Tiger Butterfly. Could you see if you're able to get Pamela, Colonel Pam Stevenson, Charles Booker or Amy McGrath on Kentucky primary Tuesday, May 19th? My 3 top contenders for Senate, more than 2,572 up for vote. I'll reach out. Right now, we've got a heartbreaking primary going on. We've got Julie Johnson and Colin Allred. I've reached out to the Allred campaign. Have not heard back from Colin Allred yet, but Julie Johnson will be here on the 1st. I'm hoping the Allred campaign responds. I'm hoping. I'll keep reaching out, but yeah, I don't mind. I'll bring people in from other races. Absolutely. Cecile Kazemi. And Trump blew that off yesterday, saying that the whole world was a casino. No big deal. Yeah, that was disgusting. It really was. Rena Scott. He shouldn't just be fired. He needs to be stripped down to his skivvies and kicked out of the USA. I hear you, brother. Glenn Kaneko. Disgrace to all us Asians. Cow he's a nutball. He really is. He is freaking out there. He is a Trump taint licker in the extreme. Martin Bissick, thank you for being so generous, brother. Thank you for gifting the memberships. Right now, there are memberships available, folks. ET, it is less than 28 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. Amen. Marta, glad to see you. Thank you for the support, Marta. I'm glad you're loving it. I'm glad you're enjoying what we're doing. I am. Thank you. E.T. Bullies do not like to draw lines because then they have to do something or chicken out when someone does cross that line. So no consistency. Yep. Amy, good to see you here, Amy. No one in the Trump administration could pass a security clearance. I'm telling you, this is just... It's every day something like this happens. I mean, between drunk Patel and drunk Hegseth and Kristi Noem pocketing, still trying to find out where the $200 million went for her fucking commercial. Her assistant's husband is, running, getting paid. And Chandra Patton, my Georgia mail-in ballot arrived yesterday. Amen, Chandra. Amen. Stay after it. Melinda Hirsch, thank you for being so generous. Gifted Timber. There are memberships out there available for you folks. Grab them before the show's over. Ryan CT, with Peter Magyar's victory in Hungary, many were surprised that Orban conceded so quickly. The consensus seems to be that victory was so overwhelming, it was beyond question. That's what we need. Yeah. Not, people have forgotten. We have young adults out there that have started to pay attention to politics because of the economic situations they're facing. that have never known a decent president. They're 24, 25 years old, 20, and they've never known that Trump is not normal. Even Viktor Orban conceded. Jeff Schuler, thanks for bringing the facts. Let's take the country back. Amen, brother. I'm with you. I am with you. Michael Antonsu, love this show. I'm glad. I am glad. I am truly glad that you folks are finding what I'm doing useful. I hope you're getting fired up. Thank you for supporting me, allowing me to do this full time. I could not do it without you. Thank you to all the people on PayPal and Zelle and everybody that are supporting the show where your comments don't pop up. I do see you. I do read your comments. I do read your email. Again, I just cannot say thank you enough. Deborah Emery, no, thank you. Thank you. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night. Free piece of advice to anybody that wants to do this. Make sure that your cat is not in the room with you, because they will sit on the desk, and it is really hard to focus and concentrate when your cat is staring you in the eye the entire time, just looking you dead in the eye. Go on. Yeah, make sure the cat's not in the room.